Could every single Fortnite mode be connected by the storyline? Now, if you guys don't know, Fortnite lore has been heating up, and in general this season it has been absolutely fantastic. Right now we're literally wondering if every single Fortnite mode could possibly be connected canonically. I've been wondering this for a while, especially with OG, if in some way we were going to see if OG and BR is connected. As you guys know, if you watched my last video talking about the OG Tomato Head from the OG map rifting into chapter 6, then you know that those two are connected. If you want to watch that, it's in the top right of your screen here. We know now that OG and BR are 100% connected, but something that was revealed by Fortnite yesterday made this a whole lot more interesting. With OG props rifting into chapter 6, you know, now the sign from the motel in OG showing up in Reload, and even noticing IO bunkers inside the Venture map, it's clear that Epic Games is trying to merge everything into one canon, and I could not be more excited to talk about this with you guys. This goes way beyond just simple little Easter eggs. These are lore-driven Rift events. These things were very, very important in Season 5. They showed us exactly what was going on during that time in Chapter 1, and the pieces they're moving around tell a much bigger story than people realize, especially those people who didn't play back in Chapter 1 and don't realize how big of an implication these signs actually have on the storyline. This could explain a lot why certain things happened in specific seasons, like why the enforcers showed up in OG Season 5, or how the Tomato Temple even got built. It is all connected. Now, right now, you guys, we know at least 4 modes are officially being connected by the story. Those include, obviously, Battle Royale, so the Chapter 6 Oninoshima, or Reality 783, however you want to identify it. OG now, because we know of the Tomato Head that went from OG into the Chapter 6 map, and now we also know Reload, aka specifically the Venture map of Reload, is connected to all of those as well, at least connected to OG. If you guys don't know, just yesterday the motel sign actually had its little rift event, and all of these items from OG, the same thing happened in Season 5, except, you know, the Durr Burger went to a desert in California, and we didn't know where the other ones went. As you guys can see here, in the motel at Reload, there wasn't a sign, but now the sign from OG rifted to the motel inside of Reload on the Venture map, which is very interesting and something I definitely wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting Fortnite to go this crazy with the connections, but according to a lot of people, Reload is now canonically a real reality, not just a spinoff or just a side mode. You know, it's been confirmed that the red rifts from the OG island that we're seeing up top right now are affecting both Reality 783 and the Reload map, meaning the anomalies are kind of like bleeding across realities, and now we are kind of seeing why certain things are happening in the game. Like I said, you guys, the Tomato Head and the motel sign now, they're showing up in Reload and Chapter 6, and this is not an accident. If you know Fortnite and you know Epic Games, you know that they do these things purposeful, and there is action behind each of these things. It's not just a cool Easter egg. Now, like I said, you guys, the Tomato Head from OG is officially rifted into the Chapter 6 map. It's not a funny prop placement. It means that Chapter 1 assets are starting to teleport into the BR timeline again through rifts. Now, here's the big question. What exactly is going to happen to that Tomato Head? If you guys know, in Fortnite's older lore, Tomato Temple was created after people began worshipping the rifted Tomato Head in another reality. Now, this is the big question. When it was rifted back in Chapter 1, does this mean that it always rifted to the Oninoshima map in Reality 783? Or did it rift somewhere else? Or, because this is a alternate timeline, maybe did this just happen differently, meaning an entire cult-like civilization rifted to the island with it? That is what happened in Season 5. So now that the Tomato Head is landing on the Chapter 6 island, and a lot of you guys have brought this up in my comments, are we going to see that same history repeat itself? If we don't, that might actually break the canon and mean that something different is going to happen in Season 5. Right now, if you just look around the Tomato Head, it doesn't seem like there's any like cult-like civilization or any people like about to worship this Tomato Head or anything. So does that mean that when it rifts back to the OG map, will it just be the same? Will it rift back at all? Or will we actually still see, you know, something different at Tomato Town than we did in Season 5? That is something definitely to keep an eye on, and I think it will be really interesting because this could show us exactly how it happened live inside of the Chapter 6 map before it goes back to OG. It's like we're experiencing both sides of these realities, something that we weren't able to see back in Chapter 1. And again, you guys, the OG motel sign has been spotted inside of Reload, and it's not random as well. It rifted back with IO enforcers in OG Season 5. The sign showing up on Reload Venture is a major clue, because that map actually does have an IO bunker near Tilted, which could confirm IO activity on the Venture Reload map. Now, this lines up perfectly with the idea that IO still exists in this cycle somewhere, whether it's in the storyline, or whether it's in Venture, or OG, or, you know, the actual map. Some way, somehow the IO is still operating in some way in the background through these smaller little reality leaks. There's also a theory going around that we'll get possibly a remixed Enforcer in the OG Season 5 Battle Pass, just how like we got a new Visitor variant in Season 4's pass. Now, to be honest, you guys, I don't really remember how much the Enforcer was really involved with like mainstream lore. I know we saw them in that one loading screen that I just showed you up on screen, but other than that, I'm not really sure how much they were involved in the storyline, so I think that would be really cool to see how exactly they like, what types of effects they had on the storyline back then. I think that would be pretty dope. Now, honestly, you guys, I think this direction is actually great. I think connecting every mode under one canon is a great direction for Fortnite. It gives every experience more purpose. Before, you know, things like Reload, Lego, or OG felt like kind of separate playgrounds, kind of disconnected from the story we care about. And honestly, I feel like this could make the metaverse just that much more interesting. If Fortnite starts to have like lore behind all of these modes and connecting them all together in these really interesting ways, I think that could make a lot more people interested in the metaverse. And who knows, maybe Fortnite will start connecting other modes. I mean, the Durburger just rifted out of OG, and it could be in literally any mode. It could be in, maybe we'll see it in a rocket racing map, or maybe it'll be in Save the World or something like that. That could get a little bit confusing because Durburger does exist in Save the World in that reality, but you get what I'm trying to say. I think that would be really cool if we started seeing more and more things pop up over time. These rift mechanics, I love them so much, and I love them in Season 5 because they make everything feel alive. What happens in one mode might affect another, and that makes the lore way more interesting. And honestly, you guys, I think this is one of the biggest peaks for Fortnite lore that we've had in a very long time. It seems like Epic and Fortnite is slowly kind of rebuilding a multi-reality storyline where different timelines actually do collide and we're able to see it in real time. And that kind of like layered storytelling is something Fortnite hasn't done this well in a very long time. And as you guys know, OG Season 5 is literally called Worlds Collide. And if they're doing this as a way to show like, hey, now you're able to literally see the worlds colliding, I think that is really cool. So in terms of the Chapter 6 map being connected to OG, specifically with the Tomato Head, I think it would be awesome to see exactly why and how things like that happen, specifically Tomato Temple, as well as other stuff that has happened in the game. Seeing the Enforcers inside of Venture would be really cool in Reload, but we will just have to wait and see. Specifically too, I would love to see the origins of, you know, Drift or something like that. Like, I'd love to see him get rifted back onto the Season 5 map through, you know, wherever the Durburger is or whatever, but maybe they didn't show us where the Durburger is, so that would be up for interpretation. But if Tomato Head's presence in Chapter 6 doesn't lead to a new cult, a temple, or the Tomato Temple POI, then that might create a timeline inconsistency with Fortnite OG, which would raise even more questions and prove that Fortnite is willing to drastically change the OG mode. And if the IO are active on the Reload Venture map, what happens when they eventually show up in OG again? Could they be moving between modes this whole time? Could they be like this interdimensional beings or something like that? This could be the start of a new collision event, not literally the collision event, but you get what I mean. Not just between maps, but between realities across Fortnite modes. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Save the World or something gets brought into this too, hopefully. And honestly, you guys, I am all in on this new storyline, but let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. How do you feel about it? What are your theories? Let me know. Drop a like on today's video. You watched all the way to the end. You must have enjoyed, so drop a like. Subscribe to the channel. I make videos like these every single day. Use code PROZEROYT, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.